Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori. It is my Friday. Well, it's everybody's Friday, and except for when you're watching this, it might be a Tuesday. Who cares? But it's a beautiful day. Just wanted to say hello, and it's a beautiful day, regardless of what time you're watching this. And I want to talk about your peace. You hear me talking about protect your peace all the time because it's something that you have to literally commit to protecting your peace. Because it's really super easy to let your peace, you're letting it. Nobody's provoking it, right? I mean, they might try to provoke it, but nobody can do it without your permission. I mean, that's just factual, right? So when you're sitting in a space and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really messing with my peace. Sure, I want you to be compassionate and empathetic and be kind. Always be kind. Always live in gratitude. Now, that being said, you don't sacrifice your peace for somebody else's comfort. Oh, shoot. Look at that. Did you see me drop you? Woo! I'm keeping that in. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, Lori almost dropped me on my head. Sorry. I caught you though. You're welcome. I saved your life. I saved your life. Venmo me, okay? But yes. So when you are focusing on other people's comfort, you don't want to do anything to irritate them on purpose. But if being you irritates them, well, that's a them issue, not a you issue. Okay. So it's very important that you understand that what does protect your peace mean? I feel like we need to unbox that a little bit. And I'm definitely going to do a podcast on that too. But protecting your peace is exactly what it sounds. But for some reason, I think we make it, much like everything in our lives, we make it so much harder than it needs to be, right? We get in our head, we let our head spin out, we let all of our thought process go. Like all of these things go down the path. So protect your peace is kind of exactly what it sounds like, but you need to decide first and foremost before you can protect your peace, what does your peace even look like? It's kind of like saying, hey, let's do self-love. And you're like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So like, who are you? And you're like, I'm a teacher. Yeah, nope, that's your job. I'm a mom. Nope, that's your job. I'm a wife. Nope, it's just what you're in, not who you are. So it's the same as protecting your peace. So when you are protecting your peace, you have to decide what it is that brings you peace. And I don't just mean like going on walks. And of course, that always supposed to bring you peace. I'm talking about this inner protection of your boundaries, of what irritates that peace. Now, some things like you can't just prevent everything in the world, right? That's just not going to happen. That's why we bubble ourselves. That's why we really practice on bubbling ourselves. I have a whole podcast coming out on bubbling, especially for empaths. What does that look like? But when you are in a space and it's kind of like a stomach feeling, it can be anywhere in your body, but I always feel it in the pit of my stomach or sometimes even in the chest. So like, kind of like, and it could be anywhere, but like I said, mine's really heavy if it's in the chest or in the stomach. And it's just a feeling, right? I don't mean a paranoia feeling because you're insecure and you think people are talking about you. I promise you, people don't really give half a damn about you. You swear everybody's talking about you and thinking about you. Honestly, 98%, 99% of people really don't care. And if they do care, it's more so because they're inflicting themselves in on whatever's going on. But honestly, when people are talking about you like you think they are, they're not. Okay, so they don't care. Like, I need you to understand that. So that's not the kind of peace I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of peace that's like, every time I talk to my mom on the phone, it's very stressful for me. Okay, so why do you keep talking to her? She's my mom. Well, so what? People who are related to you, and I say related to you because family can be people who are not related to you. Do not get caught up in this obligatory, right? Obligatory. Yes. The obligation. That's even better. The other word was right. But don't get caught up in an obligation of what you think you're obligated to do. It goes into protecting your peace for around this, I'm recording this during the holiday season, like in December. And people will feel this obligation, like, oh, you made me food, I'm going to make you food. You bought me a gift, I'm buying you a gift. You want me to come to your house, I'll go to your house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of obligation type feeling that can really disturb your peace, right? So you have to know what are your trigger points. I'll give you a big example of mine. A lot of people already know this, but my entire job is peopling. I love my job. When I am off, whatever that looks like, but when I'm off, it's so important to understand that I really have a way of rejuvenating myself. If I've peopled for a day or two, and I don't just mean work, because like work, most of my work is on telesession, but like tonight I have a group, and then I've got a little bit of peopling to do this weekend. And I know it's going to take me some time to rejuvenate, right? It's not going to affect my job at all, but that just means I'm going to do more grounding. I'm going to do more crochet, do a little bit more journaling, because I like to bubble. So being an empath, being these things, as an empath, you're always trying to get other people to be comfortable. No, because what you're doing is like, pretend you're in a boat. You're rowing in a boat, and you keep bailing all this water out of the boat, but there's a drilled hole in it. So I don't care how much you keep fishing out, water is still going to keep coming in. It's the same thing with your peace. So you don't get to be selective with protecting your peace. If you're going to protect your peace, you're going to have to be okay. If somebody says, hey, here's a gift, hey, or not a gift. Hey, you know what? I was thinking of this. Would you like this? And if I don't want it, I'll be like, no, thank you. I understand that you put effort into it. That's great. I appreciate it. But I'm not going to be the person that's going to be like, oh, thank you so much. I'll be like, girl, what's this? Right? I'm not being rude. Wouldn't you rather me go, oh, well, that was so kind. Oh my God, thank you so much. But you know what? If I'm keeping it real with you, I'm probably not going to use this. Like, see, you may feel like, oh my God, that would hurt my feelings. But why? Would you rather me take it, not really like it, re-gift it, or throw it away? See, that's the whole point. You say you want truth. You say you want people to, be real with you. But do you? Do you want people to be real with you? Because you may not like the realness. So you don't get to pick and choose. So you would rather know where somebody's coming from, and they honestly would rather know where you're coming from. So as you get all spiraled into protecting somebody else's comfort, you're sacrificing your peace. Yes, like I've said a million times, and I'll say it a million more, there's areas that you will compromise in. There's things that you're going to have to do that you don't feel like doing, like pay taxes and stuff like that. Yes, those are things you're going to have to do. Yes, or go to jail, I guess. But I guess you don't really have to do them. But, at the end of the day, the other things you don't have to do. If you don't want to people, don't people. Don't isolate yourself, but give yourself a space to be very controlled. These are the things you can control. Be controlled in your element. If you, do things that make you comfortable, that's protecting your peace. And that's, what protecting your peace is, honestly, it's a boundary. You're setting boundaries. You're saying, hey, this is what I do to protect my peace. Now, as with everything else, you have to respect somebody else's peace. All right. Let's say somebody likes to go kayaking, right? Because I love kayaking. Let's say somebody likes to go kayaking. And you're like, God, I really wanted to kind of spend time with them this morning. Well, yeah, but they go kayaking. So you can either talk to them later, or, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? You have to understand, people have a method and how they do things. And when they do something that's good for their soul, even if you don't like it and you feel some kind of way, it's good for their soul. So when you're, and this is always a good teachable call to action moment here, is when you feel yourself getting sad, or like, oh my God, my feelings are hurt, or remember, your feelings aren't facts, your thoughts aren't facts, but they're perceptions to you. When you get your feelings hurt, go deep with it. It's not really that person or that situation that's hurting your feelings. Maybe initially it's like the symptom. There's a deeper rooted issue. Is it rejection? Is it not feeling wanted? Which, by the way, it's not that person's responsibility. All of a sudden, all your childhood stuff is now triggered behind this. So it's good to know where that stuff lies. That's called getting to the root of the problem. Everything you're triggered by right now, that's not the root of the problem. No, that's not the root of the problem. That's the symptom of the root. So it's addressing what that root of that problem is. And that's super important. So when you get yourself in your feels about somebody else's peace or somebody else's boundaries, which essentially is protecting their peace. See, boundaries and protecting your peace, same thing, different word. Same exact thing. All right. So when you are protecting your peace, you feel really good. But to know that you're growing is to know that somebody else's protection of peace or boundaries are opposite of yours or different than yours. And even though you feel some kind of way, you can take it and go, oh, this goes back to rejection from my mom. I get it. This has nothing to do with that, right? This has nothing to do with me being worthy. You know what I mean? So it's important that you understand that. So the next time you feel yourself needing to people please or or sacrifice your peace, take a pause, pump your brakes. Never commit when you're happy. Never commit when you're angry. Never commit when you've been drinking. Don't do that, because then you're going to make a commitment and then you're going to be like, oh God, how can I get out of this? Now you're kind of committed to not protecting your peace. So think before you commit. Don't ever commit. Just, yeah, sure, that sounds great. Like, do not do that. It's not going to be good for you or the other person. So protect your peace, baby. Your peace is way more important than their comfort. I promise you.